Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of the Nameless Video Blog. And I guess I should say this might be the actual last episode of the Nameless Video Blog in the sense that you see it now. Just a little bit of house cleaning at the top. So we are going to be changing it somewhat to more of a podcast type format, which is great. So we're going to be able to talk about things such as the book, the publishing company Boldprint, uh, this tour that I'm on. Meanwhile, I'm gonna move out the way just a little bit so you can see some of the dates that are still remaining. July 22nd, which is tomorrow, as of right now. I'll be at the Black Reserve Bookstore in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, 319 West Main Street, number 8. Uh, on August 26th, I'll be at the Turning the Page bookstore in St. James, off of St. James Avenue in Charleston, South Carolina. And recently added, which I've alluded to before, is going to be September 23rd at the Harlem Book Fair. And that's from 10 to 6. And that's at the Harlem Office Building Plaza. And that's at West 125th Street in New York City. So please feel free to join us, especially tomorrow. I'll be out tomorrow, full force, July 22nd, Black Reserve Bookstore. And there is another date that's going to be added soon, and that's going to be the Black Mall in Baltimore City. It's either going to be August or September. I'll be there. This Sharon and I are going to probably talk a little bit more about which date is probably going to best suit and best serve. Also, seeing that we're here, please like and subscribe. So I'm here on YouTube. I'm on the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the Twitters, and now one of my favorite apps, this sweet joint called Threads, which I am so glad that the Zuckerberg did this. This is a very dope app. I'm actually, sadly, I'm enjoying this more than I am enjoying Twitter, to be honest with you. So please, also I'm on TikTok as well. But by all means, please like, subscribe, follow me on all forms of social media. I am at Berkeley for Us, and I do look forward to interacting with you all. And I probably should change it at the bottom of my screen. So in real time, you'll see me do this. So here we go. Real time, renaming. So here we go. We got my name, Kyle Berkeley, or Dr. Kyle Berkeley for many. For us. So real time, you're about to see the change. Boom. Right here at the bottom, Dr. Kyle Berkeley, and at Berkeley for Us on all forms of social media. So now that we briefly talked about the tour, and again, I'll be there tomorrow. The Black Reserve Bookstore. Please feel free to come by, support, get your copy of The Wake, The Void, The Legacy. Feel free to talk to me about even this cast. Feel free to talk to me about anything. Um, I'm looking forward to that. So, moving on, we've done the housekeeping part and we've talked about the tour. Let's talk about haters versus critics. This has been something that it's new territory for me in a degree just because when I was doing music more so full time, working with Arsenal Records, doing production with Dog University, uh, producer with Lost Money Productions, and doing a lot of different work with different people like Funk Out the Trunk and Alan Stone, and there's a lot of other people. I don't want to forget anybody's name. Michael Raleigh. You come across critics and you come across haters there, right? And Baltimore is definitely a difficult market to work in, especially during the time when I was coming up as an artist. It was definitely a difficult market to really work in. One of the just because you have a lot of other artists who wanted to compare their art to yours, but if you weren't making music exactly like how they were making music, your music was quote unquote trash, even if it was good. Now, not going to sit here and lie. There's a lot of bad music. It's just the truth. But also, music is art. Art is objective. flashing forward, and I had a a good conversation with a real good friend of mine, Proc, earlier today. Proc is a wonderful comedian. He actually might be a part of this new rollout formula that we're doing with the podcast. I'm waiting to hear back from him. Um, right now, I do have two possible co-hosts that's going to be a part of this new rollout with the podcast. Anywho, we were talking about the music career I had, which I had the benefit of working with a couple artists that were signed to major labels. And as a producer, as a writer of music, and as a talent, I'm not going to talk about the engineering portion and all that kind of stuff because that part gets weird, right? But as the producer and the writer of music, you get to understand the business from a whole different angle, right? So with acts like Zandy, Poe, um, CTG, Rashi, handling the business end and making sure these songs are done storyboard wise with these albums and everything. You're handling the business end, and you could get critics that go, "Oh, I like this. I don't like this. This isn't like the sound that the city makes. This is a different kind of sound. Or this is kind of like a down south sound. Or this is a cool sound. Or this sound is too high in synth. Not enough samples." Because at that time, Kanye was definitely one of the biggest producers out, and his sound was real heavy on the sampling side. My production style at that time wasn't real big on sampling. I really was into like really making drum patterns that made you want to really move, like really wanted to make you move, dance, like real hard drum patterns and adding cool melodies and that make you want to move. Or I would make instrumentals that would get you in the mindset of if you're an artist, you want to really tell a story to this kind of beat. That was my mindset. And you would get critics that would go, "Hey, look, we like this, we don't like that." Or you would just get haters like, "Oh, all this is garbage." You're like, well, is it all garbage or is this not what you want to hear? Because if I give you exactly what want to hear, are you still going to like it? That being said, you come to a very weird place now in this industry, which is literature, which now I have a pretty successful publishing company, Boldprint Publishing. I have started to build a real nice following, and with the Wake, the Void, the Legacy, working on the Union right now, and with the following that I'm developing, it's great when the people who were real hard critics of the Wake are going, "Dude, we like this book. We like the Void. The Void's fire. The Void is amazing." And you're constantly waiting to hear, okay, what don't you like, right? And I haven't, and it's something I haven't heard yet, right? And then when you put out the legacy, you go, okay, I want to hear what people don't like because getting critiques actually helps me as an artist, right? As an author. It also helps me as a person who runs this company, this publishing company, because there are definitely different authors that are about to release their works underneath this platform very soon. And I definitely want to make sure the things I learn I could instill in them to make them better, right? So, reason why I mention that is there are different platforms out here, right? You have Goodreads, you have Greedy Reads, you have Barnes and Nobles, you have Amazon, Apple, iTunes, Google Play, and all these other platforms, which is great. The problem with that is you might get somebody who may have seen your work on YouTube because I do have trailers out, so they'll see your trailer out and go, "Oh yeah, I like that." Or if you're on different websites like World Star Hip Hop, where I've purchased ad space on, or only in Baltimore 410, which I've purchased ad space on, and Facebook and Instagram, which I've purchased ad space on, right? And you have people like, "Yo, look, I really want this, but I want this as a movie or a series. I really don't want to read this as a book." Like, well, right now it's a book. We're working on things on the back end as far as being able to make it into a series that you can stream and watch. But right now, let's enjoy this medium for what it is, which is literature. And so these are real great stories, not even good, great, right? And which is fine. But the hater part, because like I said, I'm all for critics. If you leave a comment on any of those platforms, I'm going to read it and I'm going to take heed. I'm going to learn from and I'm going to build from. Because my thing is, I want to be top five dead or alive when it comes to being an author, right? Because I really take pride into the work I do. I've always been a great writer. Um, like I mentioned, I talked to my friend Proc. Proc has known me since high school. Proc knew me since we used to battle rap on the bus, and since I used to write music and write stories back then. So it's been my thing. So I'm always open, and I am always comfortable with somebody critiquing me. One of the people who I respect and value a lot. His name is Dante Phoenix. Dante Phoenix was the first person that I can remember that pulled me to the carpet when I was doing any kind of work with music. And it's like, hey, look, this is great. You're real good at producing. You have a good ear when it comes to making music. I don't want you to rap. I want you to make beats. I want you to write. That's as far as I want you to go. I want you to push the buttons. I want you to record. This is your skill. You're really good at this. You don't have the delivery voice to rap, which he was right. Me being a know it all and being very young, I was like, what is this guy talking about? This dude's crazy, whatever. And I wanted to continue to force it. Kind of find out, I put out Ghetto Patriot. Ghetto Patriot was meh. I put out Messiah. Messiah was meh, but I had a lot of help making it a better album than what it really was. A lot of that help was Poe, it was Rashid, it was King James, it was Dirk, a lot of people from around the way that really contributed. So that album made it a lot better. And then Transition came out. Transition was a classic. Large part is because I took the time to actually develop myself as an artist. I developed myself as a very, very good producer. Of course, a lot of that work was done working on Diesel's Real Speech for the Streets album, working on Poe's Diverse Hustle, or Paul and Rashid's Diverse Hustle, and working on Reality Rap by Paul, and working with Michael Riley on his work. So I took time to actually develop and become a better producer and making music that people actually wanted to be on, and actually building good 16s and making real good quality songs. So Transition became a really good album because of the work I put in. Throughout, I think it was like a 4 year gap between Messiah and Transition, maybe 5 year gap. But in that time, I was really working to build it up. And I listened to the people who critique. People in my circle. Poe was very critical of me. Diesel was very critical of me. Rashid's always had like that real cool, laid back, like, yo, fam, this is what I will work on this, but this is fire, bro. That's how Rashid is. So Rashid's approach is a little bit different, but it helped. And it helped made transition to a big hit. And I had a lot of commercial success with Stack Like Me, Gotta Hustle, Certified G. My love song was a major hit, which I, full transparency, my love song was not supposed to be that big of a hit. It was supposed to be a filler song. And the beat bumped, everything about the song bumped. And it just, to the point that I actually hated performing it because it was too popular. Um, and it was like embarrassingly popular. Um, Gorgeous was another one that was pretty big. Voice of the Block, which I actually might use Voice of the Block for the promotion for the Union. That track, I'm actually been thinking about that pretty hard. But anyway, getting back to the subject, one of the biggest challenges in this field is when you're dealing with people who critique because you do want to learn, you do want to grow, you do want to become the best. If you're not trying to become the best, don't do this. Don't do anything if you don't want to be the best at the things that you do. But the hustle of this is good when you're trying to be the best and you're taking into account what people who critique you say. The challenge is people who aren't trying to critique you, they see that you're putting in work, they see that you put a lot of value in things, and they go and they want to go bomb these platforms that you want just to bring down rating. And the funny thing about it is, with uh, these algorithms that exist now, I could look and see the person who does a rating and see if they actually purchased the book. And what's amazing is those people haven't purchased a book. They just were like, "Oh, I saw this dude on YouTube. I'm gonna give him a 2 rating." And it's like, "Yeah, I can see you're not a verified purchase." Meanwhile, I could look at all these verified purchases and see they've given me 4 stars or 5 stars reviews, which is great. And if I was to receive a 1 or 2 star review from somebody who purchased my book, read my book, and was able to say, "Hey, look, I didn't like it because this," I'll listen. I'll take it to heart, and I'll build and be better, which I did with The Wake, because to this date, The Wake was probably my weakest book. It had a lot to it, and I was able to build a lot from that. But I'm the first to tell you, The Wake was not my strongest book. It was my very first book. I was learning a lot about the literature game. It was my very first book I published. I had other books done. I just never published them. But sadly to say, I will say, looking at The Wake, looking at The Void, looking at The Legacy, and now writing The Union, Wake is definitely not my strongest book. It's a good book, not my strongest, right? And I look at books like The Void, which is was a 9 star out of 10, which is what's being ranked by a lot of real professional critics. And I'm looking at The Legacy, which is a 9.8 out of 10 by professional book critics. And I'm like, okay, I have 2 very high rating books. Where are these haters coming from? Not people who's like, I'm critiquing your book because I don't like this, or I feel like this could have been better. Not them. Just, dude, I saw that you had advertised on Only in 410 Baltimore. I saw you advertised on this platform or that platform, and I just don't like the fact that you're advertising your stuff instead of making a TV series. You made me mad. And it just goes, but why, dude? Like, you don't even have to do that. Like, it's like the weirdest thing. Like, there was this lady, her name was Be More Mom and Loving It. And her dislike for The Wake, which I take any critique you give me for The Wake, I'll listen all day long. Because I listened to critiques made by Sherry Woods in the past, which was very helpful in building me up into who I am now. I listened to critiques by Cheryl Barton, who was the person who published The Wake, and it has made me a better author. And like I said, I'll listen, especially when it can build me up. What I won't do is I won't pay attention to you just hating me just because you see that I'm trying to do something successful and you don't want me to be successful, or you hate the idea of somebody being successful at something that you're not doing. It just sucks. And I just don't have to do that. But I'll keep an eye out just because it's something. It's a thing. But just remember, I'm in the business of building up not just myself, but those around me. This company is not just for myself, but it's designed to build generational wealth for my wife and for my kids, and my grandkids whenever I have them. Those around me, my brothers and my sisters. Um, so that's my main. That is my why. Is to build generational wealth and to reach a large audience and to really move a message. So that being said, I just wanted to add a little insight of the idea of haters versus critiques. I'm very open to critiques. I'm not open to haters. Like, it's just a waste of my time, and my time is very valuable. So how critique helped me? So like I mentioned, critiques have helped me in the past. Be More Mom and Loving It. She definitely gave me a pretty hard critique, and you could look it up. It's on Amazon right now. She gave me a very hard critique, and I really want to meet this lady because of her, The Void and The Legacy are very great books, and it has improved my writing style a great deal. Her critique, so I like and I respect critiques. Um, it's sad about how too many. Oh, that's another point I want to bring up. So Sherry, we were at Coppin, if I'm not mistaken, for a holiday book tour, for a holiday book selling marketplace thing in 2018. So it was a few months after my dad had died, and we're there, and You have all these different vendors, you have people selling jewelry, you have people selling all kind of Christmas gifts, and I'm there selling my first book. And if you've been following this video blog, I mentioned before, Sherry and I had this conversation of just because you put out one book does not make you an author. You have to do a lot more work before you're considered an author. And Sherry mentioned one of the issues with the wake that she has was there are way too many characters in the wake. And she was correct. She was absolutely correct. Going back in retrospect, there's too many characters and it's a lot to follow. So even though I know there's people like J.R.R. Martin with Game of Thrones who has like these real large cast and ensembles in his books, I, I definitely realized okay, until you build your actual core following, you really need to slowly roll them in, right? So with the Void, I dumbed it down with less characters. With the Legacy, there I built on the characters from the Void and some from the Wake, and some got killed off. It is what it is. And but it was concise in a way where I was able to tell a story and you was able to follow. Right now with the Union, the problem I'm having is there's a lot of lingering characters from the Void, from the Legacy, some from the Wake, and then because there's a bigger story at play that's going into the transition, I also have to start sewing in some of those characters into this. So there are more characters, but it's still a condensed story that is following Tiffany and Hakeem, who at this point are not married. Um, that's as far as I'm going to go at with that portion of the video blog. I now want to start talking about being musty. So a few weeks ago, my oldest and my middle daughter had a dance recital, and we was at this college in Towson, and beautiful production, Maryland Academy of Dance, I should say. They do a phenomenal job every year with the end of the year program that they do. The recital, phenomenal, right? Savannah did a great job. Sage did a great job. It was great production by everybody that works there, Miss Darby, etc. And while sitting in the audience, there was a good portion of um, the the recital where the air conditioner didn't work, which is perfectly fine, except for there's a lot of people who are choosing to be musty this summer season. And by musty, for those who don't know what I'm talking about young ladies and young men who are choosing not to wear deodorant because they feel that it's going to give them cancer. And there are some links towards aluminum and deodorant that causes cancer. Problem is, if you're making that self conscious choice, just know how bad you smell and that you're affecting everybody around you just because of a decision that you have made to be different from the status quo, which I encourage you. All right, you want to be different from other people. You want to live longer or whatever like that, even though you may turn around, walk outside and smoke a cigarette and give yourself lung cancer, or drink 3 bottles of Hennessy or whatever and give yourself cirrhosis of the liver. But because you're not wearing deodorant, you're living longer. Good for you. High five. Hey, even though you're gonna eat six whole wings with Old Bay and hot sauce and ketchup on it, you're gonna drink all the sweet tea with all the sugar and dye of the diabetes. You're not wearing deodorant. Good for you. Problem is, you're offending everybody else. I think it'd be better to get killed by an active shooter than to smell your funky underarms throughout a whole dance recital. You're disgusting. You're the worst kind of person in the world. Please, by all means, it is hot this summer. Okay? It is hot every summer. It is hot anytime that it's not snowing outside. Like let's start there. So that way we can put all these cars on the table. Wear some daggone deodorant. I don't need to smell your underarms. Nobody needs to smell your underarms. You're saying, oh, I don't stink. My body's getting adjusted to it. You're a liar. I'm telling you to your face, you're a liar. I'm telling you, I want you to play this right before you go to sleep. You're a liar. Make this your ringtone. You're a liar. You stink. Wear deodorant. When you wash up, do you use soap? Good. Take it up a notch. Wear deodorant. Also, this is a thing that has become. So I thought this was a joke at once, right? I think it was last year. It could have been year before last. There's an actor, Ashton Kutcher, and the actor who plays Meg on Family Guy, Melina Kunis, whatever her name is. Um, so they were talking about not showering every day or something like that. Dude, different strokes for different folks. They clearly have money to get away with whatever, and they pay a lot of yes people to say they don't stink. Problem is, you're musty if you're musty. Okay, you don't have that luxury. I had the opportunity to talk to somebody, and this person has a son, and they were telling me that their son had psoriasis or something like that, and they was like they wanted something for skincare. So I was like, cool. I use shea butter. My wife use shea butter. My kids use shea butter. All that good stuff, right? And I was like, shea butter works. I know my wife has more sensitive skin than I do, so I was like, dude, shea butter works wonder if you have sensitive skin, right? So I went to one of my hair spots because she wasn't going to a hood spot like me. So I went to one of my little hair spots, got their shea butter, rolled up on here you go. She paid me for the shea butter. So she put it on. She said, dude, it works wonders. So her son's in the swimming class. And she was like, yeah, it works great. I put it on him when he leaves out the swimming class. Blah, blah, blah. Like, do you put it on when he get out the bathtub? She goes, well, he only washes up once a week. How old your son? Time out. How old is your son? Once a week. Once uno time? Uno momento? No, that's not cool, dog. You need to wash his behind morning and night. Morning when he's getting ready for school, about to go do stuff. Night when he's about to go to bed because he's a boy. Boys playing dirt, blah blah blah. Wash his behind. You can put the shea butter on him. Like you're worried about psoriasis. You need to be thinking about wingworm and everything else. Hand, foot, mouth disease, all these other things. Wash behinds. Wash your behind every day. Wash your kids' behind every day. I encourage you to do it at least 2 times. I work till midnight at my full-time job. You know what I'm doing when I get home? Washing my behind. You know what I do when I wake up first thing in the morning? I wash my behind. You know what I do with my kids in the morning? Step behind. You know, I'm at work. You know what my wife's doing with my kids right about now? Washing their behinds at least 2 times a day. It, it's mandatory. I don't want to hear anything about you stripping something away. Anything. I don't want to hear. Please, by all means, rewind back to the whole deodorant thing. You're a liar. Don't do that because your funky, dirty, disgusting self, who's dirty, is getting in a pool with other kids, and you're putting your dirt in these pools with these other kids because you don't have the common decency to clean yourself. That's disgusting. Do better. Please do better. As a society, do better. We don't have to agree on politics. We don't have to agree on food. We don't have to agree on jack much else. Let's just agree just to be clean people. Okay? Let America be the clean country of the world, right? Like I've made this joke several times that America is the Florida of the planet Earth. We don't have to be that way, okay? Sorry. Let's just let's start using soap and water in the morning and at night every day. Let's wash our behind. Let's use a towel. Let's clean our face, clean our eyes, clean underneath the arms, clean our private parts, clean our feet. Dude, are we that disgusting that you see your dog, you pet your dog, all that kind of stuff? You then some of y'all nasty folk let dogs lick y'all in the face and y'all kiss the dog. Whatever. Y'all want to be nasty, that's on you. But but then you're gonna go to sleep like that? And then you wonder why you got lice? Dude, be better. Be better. Come on. Come on. Let's just be better, okay? Don't be musty. Wear your deodorant. Wash up. Use soap and water. Scrub and go over again. Do it about 3 times. Do it like you paint a wall. Do a couple coats of it, okay? Um, your deodorant will not trying to get religious, but in the Bible they talk about when Jesus is at the Last Supper and talk about one of you will betray me. I feel like I'm betrayed every time I'm in public, and one of you betrayed me by not having deodorant. Wear some daggone deodorant, okay? Next up, this algorithm on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. So, for those that don't know or didn't listen to the top of this, I used to be a producer. I used to be a writer. So, a lot of the music that is done in the background on this show, actually, almost all of it is stuff that I produced throughout the years. So, it's just beats that I have just sitting around on my laptop or my hard drives, different stuff I have hanging around on online media that I just use for background stuff, right? I'm not going to, I'm, my music career is done and over with. I'm very, very much so retired from music. But I do use the instrumentals for this because some of the beats are cool, right? I'm not going to say I was the best, but I think I had some real good beats. And I think it's good enough to use for these shows. Why am I mentioning that? I recently went through a thing with TikTok where I was starting to play with this algorithm to put more media out to be seen more often and build my fan base and build a bigger following. I was putting beat on it so that way people, oh, this is cool. What is he talking about? And by doing so, the beat was good. Beat was getting people in. Why am I getting hit with a copyright violation? I'm like, how? I made this beat from scratch. It's been sitting on a hard drive. Nobody even knows this beat exists. What copyright violation did I make? You couldn't even copyright this joint. Like, well, how? How am I getting hit with a violation? And now my whole thing was muted on the TikTok joint. I'm like, this makes no sense. This is original sound, original creation, created by myself that I put on my own platform. How am I being punished for my own work? Understand this algorithm stuff. I am open to learning because I'm still trying to grow this platform, not just for myself, but for Bullprint as a whole, because there are different people that are about to release very soon. And I'm getting ready for this holiday push now that we're coming to the end of this tour. I have three more dates, possibly four, possibly five. There is an Atlanta date that I haven't made public yet. Um, but I I was kind of thrown and blown by that. 'Cause I'm like, dude, this is actually my work. Like I've put out countless stuff in the past where I had my music playing in the background. It wasn't an issue. I purposely stay away from commercial music, even with the trailer that I did for the Legacy. I had Devin Walker, not Devin Walker. My apologies. I had Ramel Thompson's song playing in the background from Taste Test Volume One, and there's some other music on there I'm definitely going to use going forward. And then once we start shooting the series, Devin Walker and I, that we're going to be implementing not just him but other local artists, their music into the actual shooting of the series that we're actually in the process of developing right now. So there's that. So just understand the copyright piece. Um, I want to talk about this whole thing with this Writers Guild and the strike. So this all started for me when I was looking at some information that came out about how Netflix was playing the writers for Squid Games. Which Squid Games was a hit. I really enjoyed the Squid Game series. I was looking forward to the second season of it, even though I didn't think you needed to make a second season. I think that's more of a cash grab than just putting out something good and just calling it a day. My opinion. But what these writers are getting paid is ridiculous. Like I was looking at these Marvel writers and what they've been putting out, as far as what they've been getting paid. And these writers from these different shows and these different movies and what's that across the Spider Verse and what it was like with the writers' room and the artist room creating that movie, and it just made me go as an author, well, where does that leave me? Because right now I've been in the middle of a lot of different negotiations with this producer from Canada, this producer from that's from here in Maryland, somebody who works with a very, very big name African American producer who I'm now on their radar. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, well, well, what you talking about? Because this is my work. This is a series I'm putting out. I have 3 books in the series done. 2 more are in the process of being done. One of the 2 will be done by November of this year, prayerfully, and the final book in this series will be out next year in December, prayerfully, right? And I'm like, well, how does this work with me getting paid what I'm valued? Because this isn't cheap or easy work that I've done. This is very hard work that I've and blood, sweat, and tears that I put into this. And there are a lot of other products that I'm going to be putting out soon as well. And there's a lot of other great authors I'm going to be putting out. And there has to be some sense of fairness because if you're going to pay these actors very fair wage and they do great work, and these producers they pay very great wage, and these like the executive producers, the music producers, the people who do the scores and everything else, the writers who actually create the storylines that you either say is really good or really garbage, you need to pay them just as well, right? We can all agree that Dark Knight was a great movie. It was written very well. Heath Ledger had a great performance. Christian Bale, arguably. Um, but I like Christian Bale, so that's not me trash talking the gentleman. I really like him. I thought that he really got jerked around with what he was given in Love and Thunder. He's as Go to God Butcher, he should have definitely had more to do with in that movie. But that's neither here nor there. But what I'm saying is, you have these actors who do a great job. You pay them well. You have the people who do the score in cinema. They do a great job. You pay them. You have your FX team, your CGI, et cetera, that you pay them to do what they do. Well, you need to pay your writers because without your writers, you don't have a movie unless you're going to make the whole thing. What's that thing called? Not ad lib, basically ad lib. Like if that's what you're doing, and you're trying to make it it's a thing that people do improv, knock yourself out. That's what you're going to do with movies from now on. But I don't think you're going to be able to really build a long series of movies with all your characters improv. So you need to pay them. So I'm just looking at that because I'm also looking at how is this going to affect me going forward with my series. And now that we're in the process of developing it into something, and I'm still going through some negotiation stuff, but now a lot of things are on hold because of the Writers Guild strike. Um, Also, kind of switching gears, the documentary, the Netflix Gladiator documentary, it was amazing. I thought that was one of the best. All right. So anybody that knows me, and this is to all y'all that don't know me, I'm really into documentaries. Like really into. I watch documentaries about cults. Give you a hint. The Union is about cults. It's a continuation of the Tiffany Given saga, and we're going to be right, and we're going to be diving into Hakim's family. Hakim's family's church is a cult. So just throwing a hint out there. And this is not me attacking any church, any belief, anything. I'm telling this story. And I'm telling this story for a very specific reason because it's very beneficial for Hakim's character. It's very beneficial for Tiffany's character. So before anybody starts coming at me to attack me about, oh, you attack my church, I'm not attacking nobody's church. Or anybody's place of belief. I'm writing this story because it's building on Tiffany's character and Hakim's character. And as always, Ridgely Square is the character all by itself. And I'm building the Ridgely Square character all by itself together with that hope. So, full disclosure with that, I really love documentaries. I've been doing a lot of audiobooks and reading a lot of books about cults, just in the process of working on this book. Just like I read a lot of stuff about different serial killers and stuff like that, working on the AFK storyline and legacy, right? So I was looking at this Gladiator documentary and I was blown away by how great it was. It was really, really, really great stuff. So really enjoyed it. And if anything comes out of this writer's strike, because I know before when they had one reality TV became a real big buzz. I hope the next big buzz and big praise is really having great documentaries coming out, but also really paying your writers fairly and a decent wage, not holding out till people lose their apartments and places to stay, which is what I have read and heard they're trying to squeeze the writers to do, which is disgusting. Next up on this is the affirmative action rule. And I have mixed feelings about this affirmative action rule, believe it or not. I have been blessed to go to HBCUs, Coppin State, Morgan State, Sojourner Douglas College for my bachelor's degrees and for my master's, my first master's degree. I've also had the privilege to go to a predominantly white college, being Walden University, for my second master's degree and for my PhD. That being said, I don't believe, under no way, shape, or form, that my skin color was a hindrance or a step up for me being able to accomplish things. That being said, my skin color has become a barrier throughout my career. I started working when I was 14 years old. My first job was at Giant Food. It was a grocery store. And I was terminated there at the age of 18 or 19 for I was working a salad bar. I was in salad bar. Is picture it being built like an L. So one side of the salad bar had fruit, one side had veggies. So I cleaned the side of the salad bar that had the fruit on it outside. And there was a young lady that came in. It's like 10 o'clock at night. The salad bar was supposed to be closed at 9. I had to work the register because I worked multiple jobs at Giant. I would work the register, I would work the bakery, I would work produce, I had to unload trucks, and then I had to do the salad bar itself. So if you do, you're doing multiple different things, and then sometimes you have to push the carts and clean the trash cans out front, and all that kind of stuff. So just painting a picture. I was terminated because there was a lady that came in one night after 10 o'clock. I just got off the register. I cleaned the fruit side. And mind you, it could have been a veggie side, but this is many moons ago. I'm just painting a picture. And I clean the fruit side. I see her and I go, hey, look, I'm going to leave the veggie side open for you. I am going to finish cleaning the side of the fruit. If you want anything, let me know. I'll go get it for you. Right? So she gets this big tub thing, fills it up with iceberg lettuce and onions and all this other stuff, and then croutons or whatever that she's going to fill her 10 o'clock salad up with, right? And she's filling it. She looks over at the fruit side, sees the fruit side is bare. She looks me right in the face, takes this big tub of salad and just slams it on the counter and goes, I can't do this. That's all you niggas do is lie, cheat, and steal. She goes up to the front end manager and goes, I can't do this. I hate this guy. I hate this nigga. Which one? Right? So she's pointing at me. I'm like, oh, I'm the nigga that she is. Ain't that so? Right? So I go, what did I do? She's like, that's all you niggas do is lie, cheat, and steal. Oh crap, you said hard R. That was real disrespectful. Right? So I'm like, what did I do wrong? You niggas lie, cheat, and steal. Dude, we're still going with the hard R. Can we just get to the S part? Like, we don't need the R. You can just add an A and an S. Like, you don't have to be so offensive, bro. Plus, I'm not my ancestor. Actually, I am my ancestors. My ancestors would put hands on you, and so will I. So, you got one more time to say it before you get hurt, bro. So, EEOC, you say it, you can get hit just like your husband. So, um, So she storms up. So she storms up the store. Then she writes corporate some letter about she was upset that a black person was touching the salad bar and she deserves better than black people. So Giant Food terminated me because I was a black person touching food, even though that's my job, and I'm cleaning up. And I was more than helpful. Cameras proved it. The staff that worked there, they backed me. But because she wrote a letter, the original Karen wrote a letter about how she was upset. I was terminated. So I worked at Red Robin for a period of time. I worked for a pawn shop for a period of time. And then John brought me back when they realized, hey, we might have actually created a racial problem by terminating me. Our bad. This didn't happen, okay? Um, and that's what happened. And I went back to John. And how I got to this story is because I want to talk about the affirmative action piece. And with affirmative action, there's a lot of opportunities that many of us should have the God given opportunity to have, but don't because of our skin. We can be pointed out, we could be hated on, we could be terminated, anything because of the color of our skin. And there are certain parameters that are set up to actually defend us. Now, with education, do I believe that me obtaining my PhD was based off of my race? No, I know my intelligence is what caused me to gain and earn my PhD. It allowed me to earn both my master's degrees, my bachelor's degree, my PhD, my career in this field. But what I will say is there have been parameters set up, such as gatekeeping tests like the LCSWC exam, that are designed to really hinder people like myself from moving up in the field of social work, to health, to work independently, build insurance, supervise people. I could do everybody's job 10 times over. I'm the highest in the field as far as education. I'm the highest in the field as far as experience. But being able to move up and make an adequate wage, boom, you there's these gates that are created. So when we talk about affirmative action and people want to talk about, oh, well, Clarence Thomas, blah, blah, blah. Dude, before we talk about this one Clarence Thomas, there's 1,000 other Clarence Thomases that we deal with on a daily basis that do that and so much worse. There are Clarence Thomases that we vote for who do this whole vote blue or vote red, we have your back, and are stabbing you in the back every chance that they get because they think that they're doing the greater good, but really they're hindering. You have people that look like you, that look like myself, who act like they're your ally, but really they're your enemy. And they're your enemy because what they're doing is they think that what they're doing is best for the greater good of everybody else instead of actually looking at what's the needs of everybody else and seeing how can we actually fight for and make changes. And do I believe by any stretch of imagination that there's a test like the LCSWC exam that, let's say, um, Carrie can take and pass that I can't? No, I think I'm just as smart, if not smarter, than Carrie. The problem is when you look at these standardized tests, and there's tons of research to prove it. If you ever get a chance, please read the New Jim Crow. Please study up on the school to prison pipeline. There's tons of standardized tests that are designed to actually hinder us instead of them being completely fair. It actually shows that we are able to accelerate the exact same way. Um, I definitely want to get off that soapbox right there because I could get into the whole idea of all these images that are created that are designed to put us down, all that kind of stuff. I don't want that. That's not what this video blog is about. Um, but I'm not going to hold you all much longer. But like I said before, there is definitely a revamp to this video blog happening. This is probably going to be the last one in this setting, and I'm not sure if the cast will still be called Nameless or not. It might be. I actually like the name this name, but this probably is the last one. I Right now I have two co-hosts that will be working with me, so we're going to try to make this as fun as possible, as entertaining as possible, as engaging as possible, and it's still going to be weekly. And I'm hoping that this will all come into fruition starting next week. It looks like it'll be on the ETCC channel. So for those that don't know, ETCC or Earth 2 Cosmic Cast is the um, the cast channel that I was on in the past when I did the Three Guys Rant podcast with Mo Crosby and Anthony Wiggins. That was the one that I was doing the after show on Watchmen. Oh, so many shows I did. Was it Watchmen, WandaVision, Captain America, Winter Soldier? What's the one show that a lot of people like that I was very crucial and I didn't like? Um, it had the Cat and Nine Tails in there. Uh, Lovecraft Country. Lovecraft Country. I've done tons of after shows on movies and stuff like that on there. So looks like that's where it's going to be on. I had a brief dialogue with Mo, and it seemed like it's a goal as far as being able to put on that platform. So look forward to that, right? And we're almost at the end. So again, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about the video blog, tell your friends and family about the Wake, the Void, and the Legacy. Please purchase a copy if you haven't done so yet of either one of the three. Um, get the Void, get the Legacy. Please read them. Also, if you have read them, please leave a comment. Go on Amazon, go on Barnes and Nobles, go on what's the name of the other one? Goodreads or Greedy Reads. Leave comments on there. Please let people know how you feel about it. Don't just give me stars. Please give me words. Let me have something to read and sink my teeth into. I have no problem sharing comments that people have made about it. I have no problem talking. If you ever want to just talk about the book with me, dude, you can join me. We could do this together. I'm all for it. My name is Dr. Kyle Berkeley, also known as Kyle Berkeley or Kyle S. Berkeley. This is the Nameless Blog. I can be reached on all forms of social media at Berkeley for Us, except for Facebook. I am Dr. Kyle Berkeley on Facebook. And that is it for today. Peace.